The focus of this demo is on how the Euclid user interface can be used to capture SPC-related data for a single product. The data used in this demo is random as has no scientific value. I'm starting with the creation of a new mixture product. I indicate the name and I open the dataset. You will notice that the legal entity is populated by default. It is the working legal entity linked to your Euclid user. The first step before I fill in additional data is to select the working context, which will define which table of content will be displayed in the navigation tree on the left. I select BPR Summary of Product Characteristics. On the left side, on the top, I can access the dossier header, where I can fill in the information such as a dossier name, dossier submission remark. I can indicate if the SPC is a product family or a single product. I select single product, market area, and the language. Authorization details will be added later based on the data generated by R4BP3. I save my changes. Then I continue to the main entity, the mixture product, where I see the name of the product inserted previously and the legal entity. I click on the arrows next to the section's name to see the whole structure of the SPC. I will now insert additional information. I will start with the manufacturer of the product. To create a document, I need to click on the plus sign. Document is created, and then under name of the manufacturer, I insert the relevant information. I can do it using the list of legal entities available in my Euclid database, or I can create a new one. I select one from the list, and I save the information. In a similar way, I add the location of the manufacturing site. I don't have yet any manufacturing site available in my Euclid database, so I create one. For a single product, I don't need to use the field related mixture product. If there is a need to add more manufacturing sites, this is done in the same way. The next section is identity of the biocidal product, where we have two subsections, mixture identity and legal submitter, and the biocidal product composition. This is where I fill in information about the product compositions. I click on the plus sign and add the composition record, composition mixture. If the SPC is for a single product, as in my case, I select composition mixture. I complete the fields. I add the trade name. I can add a brief description, and I can select the formulation type. In the next step, I specify all the components of the product. I start with the active substance. I add a new component by clicking on the new item and select to add the substance. My Euclid instance does not contain yet any substances, so I need to create one. I click on a create. The legal entity is again populated by default. I add the name and the reference substance. I have already this reference substance in my instance, so I select it and then I save. If I don't have the reference substance in my instance, I create it by use the button create. I indicate the function active substance. I can specify whether my substance is generated in situ. No, in this case, and then I specify the content, the concentration. I close and I save. Now I can add all other components using the same way. All the components of the product are displayed in the table of contents. I can open each substance and add documents relevant to it. I do it in the same way as for the product. I click on arrow next to the sodium chloride, which is my active substance, and I add a document under manufacturers of the active substance. And I save. When the whole composition is specified, I continue with other sections. In all the sections, I have predefined fields with clear labels. I can now fill the hazard and precautionary statement. I can put any additional text, and I always remember to save my changes. The next section is authorized uses. I create a record for the first use and fill in the data. Product type, title for use. I indicate field of use, field of use description, if relevant, user categories. I will then indicate target organism, packagings, application methods, and use specific directions for use. For each of those, I create a new record. I indicate scientific name, common name. I can put a remark and development stage. I can add more target organism if relevant, and I save. There is a default name proposed for the record, but I can open it and again to modify it. I will rename this document to target organism for indoor use. Similarly, I create a record for packagings and for application methods. I fill also dilution. I can add some dilution remarks. I can specify application rate. Also, I can put some remarks here. And then finally, I specify number and timing of applications. And I save. I provide a more specific name as well. I save again. Finally, I report use specific directions for use. In the same way, I create a new record. I fill the fields. I save and I edit the name. All the records relevant to one use are displayed under this use in the table of contents. And all the records created for all users can be seen under specific sections in the table of contents. Now, under Directions for Use, I need to create one more document which will be used to list general directions for use. I will call it General Directions for Use. And also, I insert some data. Any other information relevant to this SPC can be inserted in the section Other Information in the field Other Information. The last step of the process, when all data in the whole table of contents are provided, is the creation of a dossier in order to make a non-editable version of my dataset that can be submitted to R4BP3. This is done similarly already for other BPR submission. In the top right corner, there is a button Create Dossier. I click on it, and I see the data that I previously filled in the dossier header. I complete other data, for example, dossier submission remark, and then create a dossier. I can decide if I want to use a default setting or I can select advanced setting. And for the SPC, I go for this second option because I want to display in a dossier my legal entity. legal entity is by default not included, so I need to select it here and then create dossier. Now I can open my dossier to see its content. A padlock informs that the data is locked for addition. I see in the dossier the same structure as in the dataset. I can, at any step of the process, create an SPC report based on a dataset or based on a dossier. I click the three dots icon, I select Generate Report, I scroll down, and at the end I see SPC single product. I can select two formats, PDF or RTF. I select RTF, I open the file, and I can see summary of product characteristics for my biocide product. I have a table of contents, and I can see all the information I have inserted before. As you can see, this type of file is by default open in MS Word or an equivalent text editor.